Sunday night weekend end post-match discussion of everything that has happened. Barca managing to get that all-important win that they had to get at the Balaídos against Celta de Vigo. Madrid obviously not getting the win against Real Vallecano. Obviously in that small Madrid derby, very important for the weekend. But the big one was the conversation of Manchester City and how they were able to get that all-important win against Liverpool. We'll have all of that conversation now on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Just subscribe to the channel. A big question about Enzo Maresca and then Chelsea and what they have to do now. The good things. Did you expect some Maresca and Chelsea would have been where they are at this point in the season, in the last international break for the year? Did you expect that? We'll talk about all of that on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. This place is your best place for football analysis on YouTube. If you're an investor, then again, congratulations to you. It's an exciting Sunday because two solid codes from the codes that we put out this morning managed to get the boom. So congratulations to all of you. That's what we do over here. Once you get the best form of analysis, the next time, once you get analysis, you also get the big chance of winning some good money if you're an investor. So congratulations. I think it was somewhere around 3,000 people on me trust our code now. So congratulations to all of you. Let me say a big thank you to my man, Yesumo Spare Parts dealership shop in this country. If it's about car spare parts, then the best guy is Yesumo. He's in Accra, Aboseo Kind Post Office, just there in Accra. You have to call Yesumo. He does what he calls a nationwide delivery. So wherever you are in the country, he'll send the spare parts that you need to you. Every vehicle that you use, call Yesumo on 0200-668-708. 0200-668-708. It's important. Of course, on the other side is MOB Clothing. The best person in terms of apparel and clothing, MOB. Reach out to MOB if you've not already. It's the best place for clothes. Call MOB today. He is at Tudu, at Flower Station at Tudu. Contact him. He'll take very good care of you. But again, if you are in the country, whether retailing or wholesaling, MOB will take care of you. Call him on 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. Contact MOB Clothing. It will take very, very good care of you and everything is going to be fine. Let's start it because, of course, Barca have gotten the win in that game against Celta Vigo. Earlier on today, Madrid did not get the win against Rayo Vallecano in the small Madrid derby. But just before that, let's talk about the English Premier League and what went on today. Man City, the game against Liverpool, where Chelsea is and how the season has gone for them. Then, of course, we talk about other things, our Spanish La Liga, and we'll talk about Football Club Barcelona, which is important. Where do we start from? Let's start from the English Premier League table. In their last international break of the year, this is exactly what the Premier League table looks like. Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Sunderland, Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur, not Tottenham Hotspur, Aston Villa, Man United, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace. That is how the top half of the team or the table looks like. Now, the first question I asked myself said, did anybody ever think that Chelsea were going to be at this point in the last international break of the year? I doubt, especially with the kind of injuries that Chelsea had before the season started, with the kind of injuries that Chelsea had with Levi Cole, the other one also with our branch friend Cole Palmer, the fact that Chelsea have been struggling to get some very important players fit. I don't think that they were expected to be here at this point in time in the season, but there you have it in terms of what Chelsea have been able to do, how the players have come in terms of all of those ones. Arsenal on top with 26 points, Man City 22 points, Chelsea 20 points. What it means that Chelsea are 2 points off Manchester City after everything that they have gone through this season. Of course, Man City same, they don't start well. And of course, they're also 6 points of Arsenal. After the international break, Chelsea play against Burnley, then they play against Barcelona, and then the next one, be against Tima. Yeah, friend, Arsenal, I mean, it's very, very, very important. These are the games that are going to play when it comes to those matches now that Chelsea are going to go on and then go and play. Very, very important. We'll see how those matches are going to pan out in terms of how Chelsea probably can get the results in the subsequent games. Very, very important in terms of what they want to do. We'll see if Chelsea will manage to go and then go and get the results also match now. But after the game against Team Friend Wolverhampton, as I said, that was a very important game. It was a super, super important game in terms of what Chelsea needed to do. They needed to make sure that they win. And I think that this weekend has been a very successful one for Chelsea because, I mean, if you look at the team, Chelsea has managed in a weekend where other teams have struggled. Bournemouth have dropped points. Tottenham Hotspur have dropped points. Man United have dropped points. Liverpool have dropped points. Almost everybody has dropped points now. It is very clear that Chelsea are in the right spot, and then they have gotten the success in terms of not dropping points. After all of this, it looks as if Chelsea have finally found their mojo back again. Chelsea have finally found how to get the results for themselves, and Chelsea are happy with their squad, according to Fabrizio Romano, and are not seeking for any player, and have not started conversation for any new centre back in the January transfer window, according to Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea for GD said, if you look at the results that they've gotten and where they expected to be in and around this place, and they are fine. They are not expecting to add any other player, BSCC, to the squad. They are focusing mainly in the summer, and of course, unless there's an opportunity. Now, Oshe, the weekend now, with how things went, what it means is that Tottenham Hotspur United able draw, Arsenal and Sunderland able draw, Crystal Palace and Brighton able draw, Bournemouth, Elucia, Newcastle, Elucia, Liverpool, Elucia. So it is almost a perfect weekend for Chelsea Football Club and what they were able to do over the weekend in terms of their performances. Now, Enzo Maresca after the game was asked by Estevao Willian and said, Charlie, would himself people pay tickets to come and watch the talents of Abrantia friend Estevao Willian? Now, Otiasie, but his job also is to make sure say he manages Abrantia now, your friend Estevao Willian. Not to be under pressure and throw him on just because Obi also remember Estevao Willian or Estevao Willian. So there be now. John Terry, after the game, and spoke about Abrantia friend Alejandro Garnacho and say, I want to touch on how good Garnacho was yesterday. Absolutely petrifying as a defender when you are facing someone that's quick, that's direct, and I think it gives us something that other wingers don't give as well, and that's exactly what he was talking about. In anyone still doubting Abrantia friend Enzo Maresca, and social English Premier League table also even much more deeper. Chelsea have the expected goals, chance created from expected goals now, almost 20.8. Arsenal, 19.5. Crystal Palace, 18.5. Shot on targets per match. Chelsea, 5.60. Manchester City, 5.10. Man United, 5.10. Chelsea, 37 big chances. Crystal Palace, 34. Man City, 33. I mean, in terms of data and statistics, it is very clear that Chelsea and Enzo Maresca are on a different level. And that's why a lot of the people now keep on asking, say, does anybody doubt Enzo Maresca, especially where they are on the table, how far they've been able to come, how well they are building their projects. I have said several times that Maresca has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he is a top manager. I mean, but of course, being a top manager is not enough. You need to consistently show in a modern game. You need to be able to have things to show that, yeah, truly, I'm really top for the job that I do. That's exactly what Chelsea have been doing with Abrantia friend Enzo Maresca and the kind of football that they've been getting our tournament. I mean, it's a good weekend. Going into the end of the season, it's very, very important that Chelsea. Estevao has made a huge impact before the international break. I won't tell you the number of times Champions League, FIFA, and Premier League will post him. You have to see it for yourself. Of course, in terms of the media, maybe it's Estevao. Irrespective of what happens today in the Premier League, Chelsea will always going to be at a very, very good place. Chelsea, if you want to say, Abrantia friend Enzo Fernandez, they will not let him go on an international break. They want to let him rest. He will come in prepared after the international break and then rest his knee. It's very, very important for Abrantia, your friend Enzo Fernandez, of course, our tournament. It's a good one for Chelsea at the international break as they go on. It's a solid one for them. But in the big conversation, it's not directly at Chelsea Football Club. The big conversation is at the other side. It's the conversation of whether Chelsea will be able to manage the consistency and get a job done. But then, what a night it was for Manchester City, any team, my friend, for themselves. The job of Erling Haaland. I've said it several times. Charlie, Erling Haaland or your robot. The job of Erling Haaland, Bono, how impactful he is in games. But see, I don't think that there has been a better winger performance, whether in 1v1s, 2v1s, and then that's clinical goal scoring from Abrantia friend Jeremy Doku, from any player in a very long time in the Premier League. According to the English Premier League, the last person that did that was Eden Hazard. And it was the same Belgian, Abrantia friend Jeremy Doku, that put up such a show. Now, the Premier League says that Jeremy Doku against Liverpool is the first with a goal, 10 plus dribbles, 10 plus duels won, 3+ chances created, 3+ shots on target, and in one match since since Eden Hazard for Chelsea versus West Ham in 2019. So in about 6 years, nobody has put up that performance, and it was a man of the match performance. So we ball bench, and Toso was the man of the match. It was brilliant. And today it looked as if Pep has found everything right, even in the absence of Rodri Cascante. Nico Gonzalez doesn't have that technical ability to play like Rodri, but he's able to pick pockets and then let's pick those small passes in between the lines for him to be able to receive the ball in those areas. It's very, very important for Abrentia, your friend Nico Gonzalez, in the kind of football that he's playing for team your friend in Manchester City. And that's one of the reasons why City are back in terms of the strength and the compactness for them to be able to play their game in that area. It's one of the best things that they will be able to do together for them. For me, how Man City's 3-0 win against Liverpool unfolded, including the dramatic opening 30 minutes. And I don't agree with anybody that says that Liverpool did not deserve that foul. I think that Virgil van Dijk goal no should have stood. That was never a foul, an offside ball, in my opinion. It was a clear-cut goal. No matter what you do, that was a clear-cut goal. But of course, Jeremy Doku was the star of the night, and he got a job done. Guardiola was celebrating his 1000th game as a manager, and I think it was very, very, very significant. Not just, the word is not significant, but then the proper representation is for Pep Guardiola to play his 100th game. Either say he's doing that against Madrid or doing that against Liverpool, and Liverpool was the proper team for Pep Guardiola to play against, and that's exactly what he did. And Jeremy Doku started against Manchester City, getting the job, and it was after Arsenal for playing in a 2-2 draw, and they gave them a chance to close in on them. Of course, Nico Gonzalez came through, but then hugely the match unfolded. City had a huge chance in the 13th minute. Doku scooped past Mamadashvili and saw the left foot over there. Of course, that led to a penalty for Abrentia friend Erling Haaland, who missed it. And later on, Liverpool finally came close. I think that Liverpool should have gotten their goal for Abrentia friend Virgil van Dijk to have stood, but that did not happen. The goal did not happen for team friend in Liverpool. On the night, I think that team friend in Liverpool were nowhere close to the quality that Liverpool brought in. Liverpool have issues with their press on the ball, off the ball. And I remember a couple of weeks ago when Pep Guardiola said Premier League teams to be worried, Arsenal should be worried because Phil Foden is back, and once Phil Foden is back, then it means that Abrentia, your friend, Abrentia, team friend, Liverpool, so team friend Manchester City, and so back, and for me, that is a nice way to approach the conversation over there for Manchester City. If they're able to go into games and approach the games the way that they did, play the kind of football that they did, the role of Nico Gonzalez, role of Abrentia friend Jeremy Doku, how Pep Guardiola seemed to have changed things in terms of when to sit in a mid block, and how Liverpool's pressing scheme have changed, and how it has been very difficult for Liverpool. That tells you that, Pep's team, when they begin to find form like this, is difficult. I don't know if Arsenal fans should be worried. I don't know if Mikel Arteta and Arsenal should be worried, because if anybody argues and say that the reason why I think Arsenal will not win the league is that they have not been good leaders. Anytime they take the lead in the Premier League, they don't seem to be able to back it up. They don't seem to be able to have the ability to stay at the top and then open the gap. Man City are able to chase them out. Liverpool able to chase them out. Then I think that is true. But I think that the Arsenal team have come of age. I think that's going to be difficult for Man City to really, really stop Arsenal Football Club. This season, of course. But then when City start coming like this, they need to be worried. Of course, after the game, Pep Guardiola spoke about his very important player, the tactical eye on the field of play, Abrentia friend Bernardo Silva. Pep Guardiola spoke about him, and this is what Pep said. Pep says that the way he played today, he was the master. This is why he is my captain. He is one of the most clever players I've ever met in all of my years. That is what Pep Guardiola is saying. Of course, talking about the quality of Abrentia, your friend of Pep Guardiola, Abrentia friend Bernardo Silva, what he gives to the team and his money. He says that he is a brilliant player. He is a brilliant player by all standard. And of course, that's why he wants him to be there every time for the kind of football that they play. You can't take anything away from our brand, your friend Bernardo Silva. You can't take anything away from our brand, your friend from Manchester City for and the kind of football that they play. And Pep Guardiola said he lost our brand, your friend Bernardo Silva, and it was very important for the Pep. Would want to go on with the performances that he's putting up. Nico Reali was brilliant in that regard for Josep Guardiola. But of course, what it means is that there is a lot of pressure on Arne Slot. The team isn't playing well. Arne Slot said, I didn't see the game, Sunderland versus Arsenal, all because I was still analyzing Man City. And one more time, in the 250th time, probably this week, said Charlie, was Man City doing the analysis, trying to find solutions for the team, Liverpool. But of course, that did not happen for them. And see, I mean, it's a sad night for them. I see they didn't play the way we expected. I mean, people have always said these things there. And as slots, they got around, he didn't play the way we expected. I think that there has to be a lot of conversation around Nico Gonzalez. One of the players who has improved the most this season for Manchester City has been our branch friend Nico Gonzalez. He has been very, very important. Very important over there when it comes to it. Of course, if you look at the game that Football Club Barcelona went ahead to go and play in that big game against Tima, your friend Celta de Vigo. It was this morning that Real Madrid had played against Tima, your friend Rayo Vallecano. And that was a drab performance from Real Madrid. Nothing to show for Team your friend Football Club Real Madrid. They didn't get the results. They particularly did not play well. They weren't able to impose themselves in the game. They struggled to make things happen for themselves. And that is exactly how things are going on from them when it comes to Tima, your friend Manchester City. When it comes to Barcelona and their games, of course. But Madrid fully knew that although they didn't have a good record when they play away at Vallecano, they needed to at least hold on to it. They don't let Team your friend of Football Club Barcelona close in on them. It's very, very important when it comes to the conversation around it. It is a big issue when it comes to the issues around Team your friend of Real Madrid. Were they going to be able to go away from home to go and get a job done for themselves, or was going to be a difficult one? I mean, it was always going to be a difficult one. Madrid went away from home with everybody on the field of play. Kylian Mbappe couldn't get a job done. But of course, Kylian Mbappe could not get a job done. Of course, the big issue also is on the other side of our brand friend Jude Bellingham, who also could not deliver for Team friend Football Club Real Madrid. So obviously, it has been a difficult weekend. And what it means, our Spanish La Liga, it has opened a big advantage for Football Club Barcelona to go back into the conversation and then closing the gap in terms of whatever they want to do. It's a very, very important one when it comes to Barcelona and the job that they would have to do, the kind of football that they would have to play. I am very excited because Barca now have an opportunity to close in the gap on everybody in terms of what they want to do. Marcus Rashford say, we won today in an attempt to deliver the best level. I think the second half was much better as a team. We were cohesive and disciplined. Daniel Mosa started because Casado had some discomfort in the warm-up. So Marc Casado also some small discomfort in the warm-up. Robert Lewandowski said, we know that experienced players need to go through tough experiences like this. I'm specifically trying to help the youngsters and see how we play as a team. I think that is why matches like these are so important. And of course, but Barca got the job done. Barca knew that immediately they get the job done against team against a friend in Celta de Vigo at a place where they've not won for a very, very long time. It's more like a 6-pointer for them. It's more like a 6-pointer for them, and they needed to go into it. Robert Lewandowski is one of the 3 players to have scored 3 goals, 5 shots on target, and 6 shots and 11 touches in opponent box since 2018. Quality player by all standard, and we share the quality of football that he plays. And Marcus Rashford is in a lot of form. And the Barca fans think a ball game, bomb and say Marcus Rashford. Obi asi Charlie, thank you, Marcus. Ejuma wababe yama yempan. Ewo Barcelona Chroma say, Alaji Bruce Abessier. I haven't seen it. Hey, Marcus Rashford, the kind of football that he has done for Barcelona, the kind of football he has played for them. Marcus Rashford, much better in defense, defending better, tracking back, It was very, very important. And of course, there was a red card to our branch friend Frankie de Jong in the game. Also have to become a major Eric Garcia convert this season. We said, what a footballer. What a shame about a second yellow card at the end. Frankie de Jong's masterclass. He put a match in his pocket and controlled the game, however, whenever he wanted. Expectacular. I've said that people give a lot of credit to Abrantia Yefrenom, Pedri Gonzalez, and rightly so. But what Frankie de Jong gives to teams, the kind of football that Frankie de Jong plays is also clear. Today's win against Celta Vigo was the most convincing match since September. Barca were dominant, they were better, yes, they conceded. And that is something that is always expected with Football Club Barcelona. In games like this, they're always going to concede from those highlights. They're always going to struggle a little bit. But then really, the real dominance, the real, the real area to really judge them is if they were convincing or not. And they were. Robert Lewandowski, Hansi Flick asked me if I wanted to come off the bench at halftime and rest for some minutes. I told him I was fine. I just came back from an injury and physically, I felt incredible tonight. And say that they have to analyze where they can do better. It's important that Barca got the win. What it means is that in the Spanish La Liga table, after 12 matches played, 10 wins for Madrid, 8-9 for Football Club Barcelona, 31 points for Madrid, 28 points for Football Club Real Barcelona. What it means is that they're just 3 points of Football Club Real Madrid. Just one more game and anything can happen there. Anything at all can happen when it comes to games like this that Barcelona are playing when they're playing some very, very important games like this. But Barca have been dominant. They have been better. They've created better chances. They've been one of the best teams in the conversation of the Spanish La Liga. Their form was dipping and they needed to get back to the top. And that's exactly what they've done this week. I mean, in a weekend where Madrid dropped points, it was super, super important. Super important in terms of how things were going to go on from there. In terms of how people were going to play their football. Marcus Rashford this season, La Liga, and has the most fouls, has the most assists, in terms of the kind of football that he wants to play. He has the most assists. Now, there's something interesting I wanted to run you by. After the game that Man City played against Liverpool, then Jeremy Doku and Ruben, they've got great players around me for that push. He pushes me every day because he believes in me. That gives me the feeling that I have to do more every game. Every day I want to improve. Having teammates like him makes it easier for me. That is what Jeremy Doku is saying to Abrantia Yefrenom, Ruben Diaz, Barca won that game by 4-2 with a dominant performance. Guys, it's a Sunday night and it's getting pretty late. So we won't talk too much. We'll leave the game here. In the morning, we'll come back with some more analysis, some more in-depth analysis, some more breakdowns, where we'll talk about it. We'll get all the analysis on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing me, on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, I'll see you in the morning. Some more detailed analysis, more breakdown, and all of those things If you're not subscribed to the channel, I think you should subscribe. Turn on notification. In the notification turning, do choose all. It was a Marcus Rashford, Robert Lewandowski, and of course, Josep Guardiola. Master class of a weekend, and you can't take anything away from them. Huge step for Chelsea as well. I'll see you later in the day. Bye-bye.